Hi everyone, welcome to Northern Zen Yoga. My name is Sandra, and today we're going to be doing a Yin Yoga class, but in a chair. So, before you start, you need to just evaluate yourself a little bit to see where you need to be, even if you're using chairs to do your yoga. So, what we're going to probably need, and if you haven't got exactly the same thing as I have, you can use substitutions, and I'll tell you what they could be as we get to them. So the first thing you're going to need is 2 chairs. Now, if you're a little more flexible, it's just getting down on the floor and getting up that's your issue, you can use even a lower chair than the chair that you sit in, or you could use a small stool. It's just for some of the leg extensions that we're going to do to make that a little more comfortable in order to be able to get a good stretch. Now, if you have a lot of flexibility, you may want to play around with what chair you use on the second chair that you're going to be extending your legs out on to find the maximum stretch. Because really, in Yin Yoga, our goal is to get a good stretch. A stretch that we can feel, but we can also hold for a period of time. So, the next thing you're going to need is mostly probably a couple of blocks. So if you don't have blocks, or you don't have 2 blocks, you can also use some books. If you have some books on your bookshelf that are hard-covered books that are fairly thick, you can stack them up just to find a place where if we're sitting in the sitting position and your feet don't make it to the floor, and I'm short so mine do not, you can then put a block there so that you have a nice solid foundation of a lap for you to do the various poses in. The other thing you're going to need is some kind of blankets or cushions. So here I have both. This is called a bolster. Now this particular cushion you can buy at yoga supply stores, online. This one is from a company called HalfMoon, and they have a lot of beautiful patterns, and I will put the link to HalfMoon on my my information description below the video, so you can link up to them and see what they have. You'll also need some blankets. Now these blankets are often found in those stores that have unique and different things. Blankets these are particular ones I picked up in Mexico of all places, but you can use any kind of blanket. They don't have to be fancy like this. You just need to have blankets for 2 reasons. The first reason is you may want to use them for comfort on your chair, for resting your heels on, or the backs of your legs if they're coming across to the other chair. You may want to put a blanket or a small cushion underneath your bum for comfort, for your tailbone and for your sit bones. So a couple of blankets is good. The other reason why you may want a blanket is in Yin, it's so important to be warm. We like to keep the body warm in Yin because we're not moving around a lot, not quite as much as we would in a normal yoga practice. So what happens is the body gets cool, and when the body gets cooled down, the muscles start to tighten up. We don't want them to tighten up, we want them to relax. So by keeping yourself a little warm, even a little warm than maybe you would like to be, it will help you to stretch further. You probably heard of a trend called hot yoga. Well, this is the philosophy behind the hot yoga trend, is that if the room is warm and the body is already warmed up, then everything starts to relax, and you can bend and you can stretch and you can go further in your practice. So we're using the same philosophy here in Yin, is to warm the body up enough so that you don't have any tightening or constriction of the muscles that contract, trying to keep closer to the body to keep warm. So wear a sweater, wear socks, wear your favorite sweatpants, whatever you need to help keep you warm. And as we get older, being warm is always, one of those things we're always trying to fight. It always seems to be, a little bit too cool. Even in the summer with the air conditioning, we feel a little cool. So you probably know what I'm talking about. If you're sitting, you want to keep warmer. You can also use a blanket and pull that over top of you to help keep the warmth in, if you like. Now, we're going to hold the postures for a period in this particular practice, and it's not a very long one, so it's easy for you to do if you like every morning or whenever it's convenient for you. So we're going to do about 4 or 5 yin postures, and we're going to hold them for approximately 3 minutes for each posture. And if we have one that has to go on 2 sides, it would be 3 minutes on one side and 3 minutes on the other side. So if you like, you can go and get all the stuff that you have, that I have here that you don't have. Get it all ready, get your chairs set up, press pause on the video, and I'll be here waiting for you when you get back, okay? And if you like, put on some music, something nice and calming and relaxing. I never play music in the background to my videos, at least not at this point, because I don't want to have my voice compete with the music. In order for you to hear the music, I would have to have my voice even louder, and I want to make sure that you can understand me to the best of your abilities and get this done, okay? So go get your stuff. I'll be right here waiting for you. Hi everyone. Okay, now we're ready to go. So in this particular posture, we're going to use some of the props that I've talked about. So one of your feet you're going to want to have flat on the floor. If you've got long enough legs and you're tall enough, you can probably do that without a block. But if you're just sort of skimming your tiptoes onto the floor, I suggest you get a book or a block and put that underneath your foot. And you have lots of sides on this block. So whatever side works best for you, that's the side you're going to use to help get your lat nice and flat. The other leg is going to be extended out. So I'm going to take my bolster. Just going to get that out of the way for a second so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to extend my leg out in front. So I'm able to do that very easily. You may have a little more problem doing that. So I'm going to show you what you can do. You're going to grab your leg underneath the thigh, grab the meat of your leg, and you're going to lift up your knee toward your chest and then swing your heel up onto the chair. So you may only be able to bend yourself as much as this. This might be you. And that's okay. If you're feeling a tightening and a stretching in the back of your leg where your hamstring is, then you are doing yoga. Don't ever let anybody discourage you from doing or attempting the yoga stretches simply because you don't look like the instructor looks. We've been doing yoga. If you're a yoga instructor and you're a certified yoga instructor as I am, we have been doing this for a number of years and teaching it for a number of years. So our bodies are accustomed to being in a more extended stretch. But for you, wherever you're at, if you're only here, this is where you're going to have to think about, how can I maintain this position with my foot sliding around here? And that's where you can take your pillows or your blankets or your blocks, another block maybe, and put that, and I'm going to show you that. So let's just grab this other block and let's put this block here. So now I have something to press my foot into so that I don't feel so much like I could lose it and have that leg extend out just another centimeter or two or an inch or two and find that I'm getting too much stretch. Because the secret in yin is to not go into the most stretch you can find yourself going to right off the bat. You want to instead be at a place where maybe you can feel the stretch, but you know you could go a little deeper, but you're not going to go. You're going to hold yourself in a place where you feel it beginning to stretch, and that's it. So once we're here, and we're here for a little while, we can start to move things out of the way to give ourselves a little more stretch if we're finding that sensation of stretching has disappeared. And that's the key. As long as you're feeling it, you're doing it. So we've got our leg extended, and I'm going to show you my extension just so that you can see what I'm going to do next. And I'm going to take then my bolster, and of course if you don't have a bolster, you can use a nice big cushion, a nice big couch cushion if you have it, or you can roll up your mat, because if you happen to have a mat, you can also use your mat for your bolster. You could use a couple of blankets piled up, just something for you to relax down on. So as we relax down on this, we're going to be putting a little bit of pressure into the leg to flatten it down. If you're up here, this pressure might start to just push your foot a little farther in. So it's really important then, if you're finding that feels too intense, that you do have something there to block your foot from sliding out from under you. You just want to begin to feel the stretch. So let's start on this side. We're going to go for 3 minutes. So once you've set yourself up, if you want to pause the video until you get all the stuff you need to do that, go right ahead. But once you're set up, we're going to set the timer. And I want you just to relax down onto your cushion or your pile of blankets or whatever you're using and calm your mind down. Yin is also a practice where we can practice a little bit of our meditation. If you watch my meditation videos, you'll be able to use this time to slow your brain down and start listening to the ambient sounds around the room. And you have a window open and you can hear what's going on outside. But close your eyes and try to calm your mind down and relax and breathe deeply. Let's take a deep inhale and exhale through the mouth. And just let things go. Let's take another deep inhale. Right into the belly. Open your mouth and release it. Relax just a little more. Don't be afraid of the stretch. Feel the stretch. One more deep inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Slowly come up. Move your cushion out of the way. And bring your foot down, guiding it gently. You have your knee way extended out. You can start to lift the leg up by grabbing from the thigh. If you already have your knee in a bent position, we're just going to gently, using our hands and our strength in our arms to support the leg, bring it down, and just let it rest in a lower position. Sitting upright for a few breaths. Let's take that deep breath again, right into the belly. Inhale and exhale through the mouth. And now we're going to switch sides. So we're going to switch to extending out the opposite leg. So we're again lifting it up, stretching it out, finding our spot. See first before you begin if this one can stretch out a little further. I noticed in some of the comments that people have said that they notice one side of their body has more flexibility than the other, that's quite normal and it's natural. And all we're doing is we're just trying to get things to keep almost equal. But if you have a little more flexibility in this leg than you do in the other leg, you still want to find that stretch. So make sure that you have adjusted everything, your blankets, your block, for the leg that you're doing in the second half of this. I'm just going to set my timer up. So again, you can use your bolster or your pillow, and we're going to sit that across our lap. And we're going to have the other foot resting on the block. So we're comfortable here. We don't have anything, no pressure underneath here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Through the mouth, relax down, and we'll start the timer. And just let everything float away. We're here for 3 minutes. Take a deep breath in. Exhaling through the mouth. Allow yourself to relax down a little more. Find your next stretch. Let's take another inhale. Exhale. Let's take one more inhale, deep, deep, deep down. Hold it for a second and let it go through your mouth. Inhale, come up nice and slow. And move your bolster or your pillows out of the way. We're going to help this foot up. We're going to move our block, or if you've got 2 blocks set up, we're going to help this leg come down and rest it onto the block. So one of the reasons why we have a short little time that we have between the postures is we're just allowing the muscles and the ligaments to contract back to place. You probably can feel it as soon as you move the leg and put it into a bent position. You can probably feel your muscle react to that. And all of this is just giving it a chance to come back into place before we put any more energy into it. So the next one we're going to do is going to have both legs extended out in front of us. So this may be another opportunity for you to think about having a block here or having a pillow so that you can put both legs up, helping both legs up just like you did one. We want to be in a sort of bent knee position here because really this one is about your back. So what you can do is you can even take a blanket and you can shove that blanket under here. So I'm going to get my feet out of the way so I can put the blanket here first. And you can have this blanket here so that you don't have quite as deep of a knee bend. And it also adds a little bit more comfort. So what we want to do is we want to think about this particular posture as we're not worrying about flattening out the legs. Instead, we're just trying to get our belly to touch down onto our lap. And you might be here. You might not get very far before you start to feel your back start to activate and pull, and the muscles pull. So that's the sensation we're going for. You might feel a little bit under here, but mostly we're working on pulling the muscles in the back and the tendons in the back. We have some really big flat muscles that go and attach just under your sit bones and come all the way up to your rib cage, and they get short the more time we spend in a chair. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to stretch them out, and this makes it much easier for us to be able to bend and to do a lot of things that we do every day, but we end up having to hold on to our back because our back hurts to do it. So again, you can use your pillow or your bolster, and I would suggest you put it down this way toward the bottom where your feet are so that you can reach out and grab it and pull onto it to help pull your belly forward. So we're going to start the timer now. I'm going to start it for 3 minutes. Take a deep breath in, exhaling through the mouth as you pull forward. Find your first place where you feel the stretch and just relax here. And it doesn't matter where you are. If you're way up here and you're feeling it, you're doing it. If you're way down here and you're feeling it, you're doing it. And everything that's in between. Let's take another deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Let your head relax. Let your chin come down to your chest. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take another inhale and exhale through the mouth. Each exhale, see if you can come just a little bit deeper into your stretch. Take one more inhale, exhale, And then we're slowly going to move upward. Use your legs, walk your hands up your legs to help push you up. And if you like, you can start to remove things from your lap. Assist your legs to come down. And just sit in a nice straight way so that your back muscles can come back into shape. Let's take one more deep breath in and let it out through the nose or mouth. Doesn't matter which. Just to release any little bit of tension you may have created. So, the next one we're going to do is called the dragon pose. So the dragon pose is a very difficult pose normally. And what we're going to take is we're going to take our block, we're going to put it on the side of the chair near the front leg. We're going to put it up on the high side. And you can also, if you like, and you feel like you need it, you can have more than one block here. So, this is a modified dragon pose done for a chair. So, we're going to have our foot flat on our block. If you think you can go deeper into this, you want to get that knee up higher. So, that's where you can come into using 2 blocks stacked up or a block stacked like this. That might bring you up just a little bit higher. But you start with the level that feels most comfortable for you, and we need to play around with this until we find where we want to be. So where you want to find yourself is with your foot flat. You're sitting on the edge of your chair. The other foot is going to be behind you here, and hopefully you can see it in the video. It's going to be behind you here a little bit so that you are pushing your knee down toward the floor. And we're going to take our hands and we're going to place them on the chair. And our goal is, of course, to get down as low as we can get. So for some of you, this might be a little bit still challenging. So make sure you're using your blankets, pillows, your bolster on your seat to help find the place that's most comfortable for you. And of course, if you can get down to your elbows, you may want to have a blanket there just for comfort. We will only be here for 3 minutes, but I want you to find where you can get the most stretch. So you're going to feel the stretch mostly in this hip joint. So as we come down, we're going to maybe start with our hands pressed into the chair, and then we're going to see if we can get a little bit lower. If you can't come down to this position, you might find that, and I'm going to go into a lower position just so that you can see. I still have my knee up here and I'm leaning down, and if I was feeling it, I would be doing yoga. But for me, unfortunately, that's not enough stretch. So I'm going to bring myself up into a slightly higher position so that when I bend forward, I can feel my hip joint stretch. So we're going to begin. I want you to start making sure everything is comfortable for you. You've got your knee up on one side. Your foot is near the front leg of your chair, but to the side of the chair. And you are in a position where you can put both hands firmly down on your second chair and grab hold of it to support you. Take a deep breath in. Inhale. Exhale. Start to lower your chest down toward the floor until you feel enough stretch happening in this hip to find your stopping place, your first stopping place. Once you're there, let's take a deep breath in again. Exhaling through the mouth. And of course, as you feel yourself relax more, you think you can take a little more stretch, start to find a place that you can lower your chest down just a little further. Or maybe be able to put your elbows onto the chair Or maybe you can do that if you had a blanket just to cushion things a little bit. Let's take another deep breath in. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Take another deep breath in. Exhale again through your mouth. And feel free as you come deeper and deeper into this stretch to let your hip open up. And maybe you just let your foot go onto the side of the foot. One more deep inhale into your belly. Exhale through the mouth. And very slowly, take your time here. Bring yourself back up to an upright position. And we're going to help this leg to come down to the floor. And you can probably feel the tension being released right in here in the hip joint. So this is a very intense hip joint stretch. I want to make sure that when you're doing this stretch that you find the place where your foot is able to go, whether it's a block or maybe even one book, one hard-covered book about a couple of inches high, just so that when you bend forward, you're feeling your hip joint. You don't want to do this too far and too fast in the beginning if it's too tense for you. Your hips are one of the things that we need to take care of. So even when we're trying to stretch them out and getting them loose again, we have to be very careful about putting too much pressure on our hip joint so we don't injure ourselves. So I'm going to move everything over to the other side. I take my blocks. And you need to test the water on this side to see what this hip is like, because this hip may be different than the other side. This left hip might be looser or tighter. So this one you want to make sure it's getting its stretch. So we're going to lift that foot up. We're going to bring it onto the block. We're going to bring this foot back a little bit. So we've opened up our hips here as well. And then we're going to touch down onto the chair to find our first position we're going into. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, and just let your chest come down and put your weight onto your hands. Grab the chair in any way that feels good for you. If you want to add that blanket there to rest your wrists on. Take another deep breath in. Exhaling through the mouth. Let's take another deep breath in. Exhale. See if you can get down a little lower now. One more deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, at this point, if you want to roll your foot to the side a little bit, you can do that for the last few seconds. Inhale, come up nice and slow. Help your foot come down off the block, coming flat to the floor. Take another inhale and exhale. Just feel your body, how it's feeling now. So we're going to come into our very last position, and that's going to be in child pose, wide legs. So I've showed you this in my modification video. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your 2 blocks. If you have 2 blocks or a pile of books, if you only have 1 block, you can just turn the block a little bit on a different angle so both of your feet will rest on it. You're going to put both feet on as close as you can together, and you're going to let your knees open up so that they're headed out in the direction of each side of your chair, like this. And you have your second chair in front of you to lean onto. So here again, you can always use your bolster to rest your chest on, if you find that getting down to the chair is a little bit difficult still. So this is just an extra little cushion you can have, as long as you're feeling a nice stretch up here, and maybe a little stretch in the hips, you're fine. If you're not feeling anything and you're just really comfortable, then you need to start to use the chair in a different way. So nice straight back as we come down. We're going to bring our belly down toward the seat of the chair between our legs. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. Bring your belly down. Grab your chair. And see if you can get your elbows. If you can't get your elbows down to the seat of the chair, maybe you can rest your bolster or cushion here. And rest here in this place. Put your forehead down. This actually feels pretty good. And you want to make sure you're still feeling a stretch back here and in between the legs as you push your belly toward the floor and spread out the hip joints a little bit. Take a nice long deep breath. We're going to start the timer now. Inhale, exhale through the mouth. Just relax down. Take another deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. And if you have your cheek on the pillow, you might want to switch sides about now so that you give your neck a twist in the other direction. One more nice long deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Very slowly come back up again. Nice and slow. Take your time here. Once you get upright, relax back into your chair. You might want to stretch out your neck just to make sure it's not got any kinks or creaks in it from leaning down into the pillows that you have. And we're going to just sit for a few moments, just in a relaxed way. Close your eyes, take a few breaths in and out, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Just a little mini Shavasana time. Let's take a breath in, nice deep breath in for Om. Nice straight body now. Sitting up, shoulders back. Inhale into your belly. Exhale completely. We're inhaling the next inhale for Om. Inhale. Om. Let's rub our hands together. And as we do this, think of places inside you that you've stretched, your back, your hips, your neck perhaps. Building up a little energy here, feel the heat in your palms. And when you get to the point where you can feel the warmth, close your eyes, place your palms over your closed eyes, and when you inhale, open them. And send that beautiful energy deep inside you. Exhale, palms to ceiling, sending the energy back out to the universe. Scoop up just a little bit and bring it back to your heart center. Namaste. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please press subscribe and share it with your friends, because I'm sure you know someone in your life that could use a little yoga. Bye for now.